Hey guys, it's Eddie. I'm going to shoot another video for you guys. Today I want to go over looking for refrigerant leaks. We can use soap bubbles, we can use electronic sniffers, and we can do a dye test. So let's dive on into it. Alright, so the first thing will be the soap bubbles. If you all decide to use this, I mean really you're going to just check like the valves. You're not going to spray this all over the coils. You just spray it real good all over the valves and just let it sit there and see if there's any bubbles. Make sure these caps are tight. These two down here, make sure these two are tight, make sure these two are tight, and just kind of wait and see if the bubbles are going to show up. I don't really like that method, but you know, if that's all you got, that's all you got. Let's do it. The next method is to use like a sniffer. You know, all we're going to do is just power it up. We're going to wait for this one to warm up a little bit. This one, the speed will increase when it's warmed up, and this will start flashing red. Alright, so this one's ready to start looking. So all we're going to do is we're going to move this tip really close, just really slow, all the way around all the caps. I'm going to do it on all of them. And if it sounds off, if the beeps get real loud, you know you've got a leak. Now, one thing you cannot do is, these may not leak. If you take these caps off and you try to check them like that, you know, that's kind of wrong. That's kind of wrong. These things are designed not to leak with these caps on them. And that's a seat right there. Just look inside there, there's a little groove and it seats into here. So this keeps it from leaking. Both of these keep them from leaking. So these are designed to be on there and tight. So if I tighten, now sometimes these will leak sometimes without them caps on there. And that's going to be normal. And the King's valves, not so much. If you've got regular service valves, they may pick up a leak. There you go. So if you're checking that, I mean, you can't go in there and tell the homeowner your service valves are leaking. Because if the cap is on there, and it's on there tight, just 1/8 of a turn, I mean, it's not going to leak no more, guys. So when you're checking these service valves, make sure the caps are on there. I mean, don't be trying to cheat people. Let's do their jobs right. So you can use, like I said, these are pretty good. These will find leaks up to like 1 or 2 ounces a year. So I mean, these are fairly good. Alright, but if you didn't want to do it that way, you can do a dye test. And that's what we're going to go over next. Alright, the dye kit that I've got is made by Spectral line. These kits are about $100. You know, I personally like the dye test. This is what I do mostly. But everybody's got their own opinion on it. So let me break this kit open and I'll show you what's in it. Alright, so when you buy this particular dye kit, first thing you're going to get is it's like a little flashlight. It's a UV flashlight. It's called the Optimax Junior. This thing's pretty bright. They work really well. I'm going to show. I've got a coil that had a leak in. I'm going to show you all. But to get this flashlight, you get the yellow tinted goggles. This is really important if you're going to try to look for a dye. This really makes that fluorescent dye pop out. You have to have these. You're going to get 2 sticks of dye tubes with the kit, but then you'll have to buy these separately. These tubes are 12 bucks a piece. We're going to crack this open and I'll show you how to use them here in just a second. You're going to get some cleaner. This dye can get messy, but if you've got the cleaner, you're good to go. Alright, you're going to get the hose that you're going to use to hook up to the air conditioner. It's got a low loss fitting on one end, and it's got the other end where you hook up your dye tube. This is your injector handle. Screw it into your dye tube. It pushes it into the system here. Alright. These don't come with it, but I'm definitely going to recommend them. Rubber gloves. Wear these things, you're going to have them all over you if not. Alright, so let's get this dye opened up and I'll show you how to get everything hooked up. Alright, if you look on the side here, you're going to see these little lines. The minimum you're going to be able to use when you start pushing your plunger through here, you need to put at least 2 lines in if you're like 4 or 5 pounds. You know, normally some of our guys use half a tube. The manufacturer actually recommends using a whole tube. Even if you're dealing with small residential system, use a whole tube. It's going to make it a whole lot easier to detect the leaks. A whole lot easier. Alright, so what we're going to do, we're going to unscrew our handle all the way down. Make sure your plunger is all the way to the back. We're going to unscrew the top. When you unscrew the top, it's not going to leak out. It's sealed up right here. We're going to screw that into the plunger. All the way in. Alright, then you've got your other end. And when you take this end off, dye is going to come out of that end, so you want to be careful. Alright, then we're going to take our injector tubing and we're going to hold our dye tube straight up and we're going to screw that in there. Alright, it's going to come with this little fitting right here. I'm not wearing gloves, but you can already see I don't know if you can see it on camera or not, but I'm already getting dye all over me. You screw that on there. If you get a new hose, you're going to have to do this. You're going to start cranking your handle, turning it counterclockwise until you see dye come out of this tip. You got to pre-purge this hose. You got to get it filled up with dye. Alright, once you get that ready, then you're going to have to hook it up to your unit. So this is what it looks like so far. Alright, then once you get it hooked up to your unit, you're just going to screw this all the way in. That's what we're going to do now. So here's the assembly here. I'm going to take this purge end off of it real quick here. Set it up here on top of my unit. Okay, this is going to be full of dye, so just be careful. We're going to screw that on here. Alright, and on this one I'm going to need to open my key valve here. I don't have my speed wrench, we're going to use this wrench. Give it a couple cranks here. Alright, now what we're going to do, is start screwing this in. When you start screwing it in, you're going to notice a plunger here. Just pushing it in there. Just screw it. Like I said, I'll use a whole tube. So I'm going to screw this thing all the way down. Alright. And I'm going to close this back off. we're going to take this off. Spit a little bit out. That's why I say you need paper towels. Grab you some paper towels, get your hands cleaned up. It's just going to get everywhere. We're going to get some of this cleaner. You need to clean all this mess off here. Whoever's going to come back and do this dye test, if it ain't yourself, you got dye all over the place, you're not going to know if it's leaking or not. So just spray it down real good. Just everywhere there's dye, just spray it down. Wipe it off. That way, when you're doing your dye test, you know for sure if you got a leak or not. You need a couple paper towels. You're going to spray it a few times here. A bottle of this stuff doesn't cost that much, so just spray the hell out of it. Paper towels are cheap enough. And that's really all there is to it. Put your caps back on. Alright, what we do is we instruct the homeowners go ahead and run the air conditioner for 3 or 4 days. Then we come back and we use that little UV flashlight. We're going to tighten these down. We're going to use that little UV flashlight and we're going to inspect every joint on this air conditioner. Outside, inside, everywhere. And we're going to look all these coils, we're going to inspect them. These coils can leak too. So we need to inspect these coils. There's a roll of tubes, U-tubes that are the tube bends that go up through here. You need to inspect each one of them. On an air conditioning system, there's about 80 different joints. So we need to make sure we get in there and inspect all of them. But I've got a coil that I've brought from my shop that had some leaks in it. So I want to show you what you can expect when you start looking for them. When you do a kit, it comes with these stickers. You want to make sure you put your date and your company on here and whether you found a leak or not. But this just lets everybody know there's dye into the system. Just, you know, crack this thing open. I was having a hard time finding that little brake line on it. I normally just put mine right above the service valve, so if anybody's here working, there's no doubt that there's dye in there now. Alright, once you put that dye in there, I mean, it'll stay in there indefinitely, so anytime you have a leak, you don't need to inject more dye, it's already there. You can just keep using the UV light and just keep checking it over and over for the next 10 years if you have to. Unless you leak it all out, then you got to put more dye in it. But right now I'm going to take you around and show you what it looks like. One more thing before we get to the coil. This is the fluorescent refrigerant dye cleaner. This stuff cleans up a whole lot better than the stuff that comes with this kit. It's made by Rector Seal, but this stuff cleans up pretty nice. We got this over there at Supply House Johnstone's where we got this at, but it's much nicer. Get you a can of this, you're going to love it. Alright guys, here I've got a carrier end coil. It really doesn't matter who makes the coil or what coil it is, A coil, N coil. They all have problems right now. I'm going to shoot another video talking about that, but this one's going to be more focused on locating the leaks. Alright, but it's just a standard carrier coil. It's a little dark in here. This one is probably around 5 years old maybe. Alright, but I'm going to show you where the dye leak was. Alright, now I've got the goggles in front of it. See that one right there? Without the goggles or with the goggles. See that? That's why it's important to have these glasses on. Alright, but the big leak's inside here. Look at that. So the glasses make a big difference. But here's where the leaks are. When you get into this, the only thing you can do is replace the coil. There's no fixing for that. Just, you know, this is a great tool to show the homeowner too. You have them put those glasses on. I do it all the time. Have them put the glasses on, shine that light in there. I mean, it sells itself. That's tape. Now, you gotta watch out for tape too, because tape is gonna glow also. So you got tape that's sticking, especially like residue glue that's from the tape where it was sticking on there. You gotta watch calling that stuff dye leaks. Let's keep everything ethical. And there's really no other leaks around here. It was just underneath the coil there. You can see some. That's inside the line set, so obviously there's going to be dye in there. But there's the other side of the coil that went all the way through. Alright guys, well, I hope this has helped you a little bit. I personally like the dye test. It's easy for me to show the homeowners that there is a problem. It kind of sells itself, like I said. Alright, give it a try. Thanks for watching.